Today I'm going to talk about the reinforcements of teaching proper sexual education and sexual awareness from middle to high school. Let's take a survey. How many of you were taught about sexual education during your K-12 education? If your hand is still raised, during those sex education classes, what was being presented to the class? Schools teach about methods of contraceptions less frequently than abstinence, which is the most commonly taught subject. 46% of males and 33% of females do not receive formal instruction about contraceptives before they first have sex. 65% of high schools taught about condom efficiency, and 39% taught students how to correctly use a condom in a required health education course. Nearly 1/4 of teens do not get information about birth control from either a parent or in schools. That's an issue. Middle schools and high schools are failing to teach their students about sexual education. Only 37 states require that sex education is taught, which includes abstinence, while 26 states require that abstinence be stressed. Unfortunately, only 27 states require sex education to be age appropriate. The question I ask all of you, what is age appropriate? When is it too early to start talking about sex? When is it too late? Problems faced with sex education programs in public schools. Teachers are where all the information starts. And unfortunately, today's teachers are not trained appropriately to where they can teach a successful sexual education class without violating their own morals or beliefs. Where students are taught sex education isn't always the proper area. Majority of the time, sexual education is taught in gym class, which is then seen as a recreational course, which then is not taken as seriously as it should be. Religion is a big topic in today's society, and that does have a lot to do with sex and education and the education of sex. Is sexual education costing too much money? Is sexual education not being taught because of the money it takes? In 2008, the federal government spent more than $785 million on teen sex issues, $300 million for pregnancy and disease prevention programs, $309 million for what are called family planning services, and $176 million on abstinence education. All of that adding up to almost $2 billion. But we cannot get the proper education in all the middle and high schools. Something doesn't add up here. 68% of American schools have a comprehensive sex education. Unfortunately, there's little transparency about government sex ed funding. It's hard to know exactly how much money goes towards school comprehensive sex ed every year. Solutions? Change the way the education is being taught. Make it legal that all 50 states require sex education part of the curriculum. Include sex education part of every year teachings. Devote one class just to sexual education. Split gym class and health into 2 different semesters to give the proper learning time to each and every student. Make learning educational. In the curriculum, show awareness of sexual violence and sexual activities to give students the idea of what both entail. Demand more money for sex education. When it comes to voting season, demand from your state for more money to be put into action in order to achieve the education needed. The proceedings will accommodate the students' awareness in this argument. What will the future for sex education be? The future depends on how or if it's going to be a continued curriculum. Bettering the sex education to a greater overall experience. Hiring creative, informed teachers to teach the curriculum in a meaningful, fun manner. Money will help whether you think it will or not. Money is the backbone for everything, which will guide our children to a happy and healthy future. Raising sexual awareness, and as a bonus, sexual violence has become even more important to the 21st century. As more Americans are experiencing HIV, sexual violence, and STDs, it is important for the North American education system to implement the necessary teachings in order to keep our future generations safe. Thank you.